Well, welcome to Modeling Time once again with me, Brian Banna. Now, these first three videos were done one right after the other. That's why you see me still wearing the same shirt. So they went really fast because I'm trying to catch up to all the work that I've done so that moving forward, you'll see more of the process rather than me just explaining and showing you what's already done. So anyways, in this video, we're going to go over the new draft gearboxes and getting the frame set up and talking a little bit about the fuel tank. But actually, no, I won't talk about the fuel tank yet. Yeah, I will, because in the video after this, we'll get into modeling the fuel tank and things like that. So let me get the camera set up here, and I'll go over the draft gearbox and the design I had. All right, so with the draft gearbox, this is the 3D printed, how it comes out of the printer, and the supports and all that. I decided to support it on the back side because you don't see the back side at all, the back side of the draft gearbox. So that's what it looks like. This is the base plate, and this is the actual draft gearbox. I have it right here all cut apart and in here. But before I get into that, what needs to be done before fitting the draft gearbox is, one, all of this support, and the coupler pin boss, or whatever you call this thing, where you screw, where you screw the coupler pin or press the coupler pin into, that all needs to come out flush up to the face of the back of the pilot. So that needs, and to the bottom of the deck. So that all needs to come out. That's where this piece will fit into. This piece right here. This is the top side, and of course where the supports are is the bottom side. So what I do, whenever you do a print, you're always going to have a boogery side, and that's the side that has the supports on it. So what I do is I tape this down to the top of my vise on this side, and I just skim the surface on the back side, and it flattens it out real nicely. So that works out really well. So once you get all of this stuff taken out, then I can glue, before I glue this piece in, let me zoom in on this a little bit. So before I glue this piece in, I drill and tap it. So I do put a pilot hole in there, as you can see, and then I drill and tap it for a 080 thread. So it's in there and in there. The next thing I have to do is remove, there we go. On the frame, I have to remove this piece of metal sticking down. I don't know if you can see, yeah, there it is, that piece right there. So it's flat on the bottom of the frame. And the reason for that is because I have to drill and tap this frame later on. So I removed that piece off the bottom of the frame there, and on the front and the back, so that's taken care of. So now, once I get all of this taken care of and cutting out the insides here, then I can glue these base pieces in. Then I made it so that this frame fits perfectly between those blocks. So there's no movement back and forth. Everything's centered properly on the frame, and all is in place well. So that takes care of that. Now, the way that these work, you'll notice on what I call the base plate, let me zoom in again. You'll notice there are two pins, here and here. Those will locate the draft gearbox so it's right up against the back of the pilot plate, with those two holes here and here. This hole is for the coupler screw, and these two holes are to secure the draft gearbox to the frame. So let me show you how that works. So we've got the base plate in. Then I take the draft gearbox, it's all been cut out. Originally, it was just a rectangular box, and then I found a picture that I took a long time ago of the underside of an RS3, which is pretty much the same as an RS11, as far as the draft gearbox goes, from what I can tell. So I used that, extrapolated, you know, the details and what needs to be done, and I put the bolt heads, the supports, the webbing, and that kind of stuff, and it fits nicely in there. So what I do is I locate the two holes. See if I can get it in there. There we go. Whoop. I have to hold it in there. So that's up against there like that. Then I take two 080 screws. Can't see anything anymore. Probably because I have my wrong glasses on. Of course, when I want to do it on camera, it doesn't work. Let me put my other glasses on. Ooh, that's much better. Now I can see. So I put the... Trying not to cross the camera with my arms. You don't see my hairy arm. So then you put that in there like that. They don't need to be gorilla tight. They just need to be cinched. Then this is the Kato draft gearbox and a Katy coupler. So that will just slip right in there all the way back till it bottoms out. Then put the coupler screw in. And again, this doesn't need to be gorilla tight, it just needs to be cinched. Just like that. And that takes care of the draft gearbox. So that's what you're going to see. Let me see if we can get some light on that. There we go. That's what you're going to see behind the draft gearbox. The coupler swings nicely, no problems there. And it's nice and tight up close against the buffer plate. Now I'm probably not going to use this buffer plate. I'm probably going to build one that looks more like the real thing, but we'll decide that when we get to working on the sill unit. So that takes care of that. And now when I put the truck in, I've got all this closed up basically, so you don't see a bunch of light going through here. You got what looks like it's supposed to be there. Now, one of the things, I don't know if you're going to see this. This is what I want to tell you about the fine detail. I put the casting number on the side of this thing. Let me see if I can get it. You can just barely see it in there. You'll never see it on the model, but it was just fun doing that. So there it is right here. So that was kind of fun doing that. I mean, it was just adding some enjoyment to the model. So anyway, so that takes care of the draft gearboxes. So that pretty much is done, you know, catching up to what I've been working on. So now what we can do is we can actually take these apart and I can show you what's up next. And then I'll start that video. Alright, so I got that out of there. So what's up next is actually more of the frame. So we've taken care of the draft gearboxes, and it's time to work on the fuel tank. Now I was going to just live with this fuel tank, but I kind of don't want to live with it. I'm not all that excited about the air reservoir and how it is and stuff like that. So in the next video, I'll talk more about what I'm going to do. We're going to get a new fuel tank for this. So anyway, that takes care of the draft gearbox. Not a whole lot there. It's just the design work on getting that done, getting it to fit, you know, properly, making sure everything lined up, the coupler height is correct, and all those good things. So I like how the draft gearbox turned out, and that'll work out really well. I think I went through about maybe 6 design iterations on those until I got it to be exactly what I wanted. These take, this takes like 50 minutes to print out. So it's not too bad. You know, go through a design, you know, go, okay, I want to add that. So I added all the, you know, the other details, the supports, you know, these support brackets here and stuff. And you know, okay, I'll print that out. So I printed that out, and then I go, oh, you know what? I want it to fit nicely into these recesses in here. So I did that, and everything worked out great. I'm really happy with what's going on with it, and it's time to move on. So we'll just wrap this video up now. All right, so that takes care of the draft gearboxes. That whole design, I already had that design, the basic rectangular draft gearbox, and the idea on how to connect the frame and the sill unit all together. I had that design done a few years ago. I just perfected it more with adding the detail to the draft gearbox and such. So it took me maybe 2 days to go through the iterations to get done what I wanted to get done and make sure everything fit appropriately. So, moving on to the next subject will be the fuel tank. I'm pretty excited about this, and I will get that video started as soon as I'm done with this one, but it won't be posted right away because now we have to actually do the work, the design, and talk about what I'm going to do. So, again, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed that, and we'll move on to the next one.